Boom, it's in there. So that's what she said, but.
What's going on, guys? It's UrAvgConsumer, and I've been using the iPhone as my main daily driver for about 3 years now, and I recently decided I'm going to be switching over to the new Samsung Galaxy S8. Of course, I had to document the experience to let you guys know how that transition was and to see if it's actually feasible for me to go ahead and make the switch. So let's take a look at day one and a little context.
Alright, so I got my iPhone 7 Plus. Never thought I would be taking one of these to it. Gonna use the SIM ejector tool to take out the SIM card. And, oh, it's a bad sign already, folks. The SIM card fell, but alright. I like the S8 enough to warrant making it my daily driver. I haven't made an Android phone my daily driver since, I don't know. I guess since maybe Ari, when you got an iPhone, right?
Yeah, probably.
Then that kind of made me jump on board because of iMessage and all that. Boom, it's in there. I gotta admit, guys, I'm nervous.
So for the next week, I tested things that I use on a day-to-day basis, like group chats, video calls, my favorite apps, to see if I could actually make the switch. And surprise, surprise, within my first few minutes, I ran into my first hiccup.
So now what are you doing, Jed?
I'm actually posting something to Instagram from the latest video, but I don't have access to iCloud Drive anymore, since obviously. So I'm actually posting it to Dropbox so I can grab it on my phone and then post it. Something I gotta change up now.
Now, even though the screen on the S8 is absolutely beautiful, it still has those edges on the side, so it does take some getting used to. I've said this in other videos, but even after using it for even longer, I still haven't completely got used to it. I don't think you ever really do. You kind of just have to not care. It isn't exactly the best for content consumption because things on the screen end up looking a bit warped, especially if you're watching something with subtitles. You're gonna have that weird angle on the subtitles, which isn't really a good look. But for just about everything else, this should be fine. This is absolutely one of those areas where it's like beauty over function because there's really nothing gained from having those edges, but it does look good. The next hit you take coming from an iPhone is the loss of FaceTime.
All right, so what do you think of the quality, man?
For me, you look kind of like blurry, and I'm
A little grainy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it too on yours. But you're in a dark room though, but either way, I think FaceTime would probably be better.
It would. I mean.
Oh, you got an iPhone right next to you, right?
What's up?
You have an iPhone right next to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, FaceTime me. All right, B. So let's give our assessment real quick. What are your thoughts?
As you said, it's just as easy to use as FaceTime if more people know about it. But if we're talking about visual quality, that's FaceTime, hands down.
Now, I'm not a huge user of FaceTime, but it was pretty nice to be able to jump into a video call with someone with the press of a couple of buttons. You really don't have that kind of access with the S8. There is this cool video calling feature that you can use, but you can't really find that on many Android phones, maybe with other S8 users, but it's not as widespread as something like FaceTime, and the quality wasn't really as good. Now, while we're on the topic of communication, one of the biggest losses you'll face from leaving an iPhone is the loss of iMessage. If you happen to have a ton of group chats going on, you're gonna have some problems. I struggle to find a good way to fix it, and see for yourself.
Okay, so right now, Ari's about to jump into one of our group chats. So we're gonna see if this thing is gonna play well with that. I really don't think so, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed, folks. And here we have what I was afraid of the most. Ari sent a group message to me and Anna, and it's not showing up on here. But, boom, there we go. All of our messages still go inside of this guy right there. So that group chat is where everything's gonna happen. So now we're gonna have to make a new group, something with my actual phone number and not my Apple account. See if that'll work better for our group messages. So I'm still trying to figure out this whole group chat thing, but it looks like they're not sending. I don't know. I gotta figure something out. But Ari tried to create a group chat. Mine's ended up in a separate chat, and they did not go through. So we're gonna have to figure this out.
So day 2, how are we feeling?
I like the phone. I love it. I think it's great. Screen is great. I love holding it in the hand. Just looking at it, it's awesome. But group messaging, man. I can't even talk to my peoples. It sucks.
Now, don't get me wrong, it's absolutely possible to group chat between Android and iOS, but if you're coming from an iPhone and you already have group chats that exist, the only real way to get that group chat going again while you have your Android phone is by everyone else in the group chat deleting the old thread. That is a high cost to pay if you like to archive your messages and look back at them and maybe look back at some photos, some laughs that you had. You gotta get rid of everything if you wanna start over on an Android phone. That is a pretty big deal. Now, I'm a pretty big gamer, especially when it comes to gaming on my phone. Some of my favorite apps of all time are games that happen to only be on iOS, which really sucks. So exclusivity to iOS is definitely an issue that you're gonna come across. If you're playing any iOS only games or even using any iOS only apps, that's something you're gonna be facing if you switch over to Android. And there were a couple of smaller things that impacted my day-to-day use with the phone. I was a big fan of reachability on the iPhone 7 Plus. When dealing with a big screen, reachability is an awesome feature because it gets that content from the top right to the middle of the screen so you can tap it without having to use the device with two hands. I really appreciated that. And honestly, that's why I went with the S8 instead of the S8 Plus. S8 Plus had too big of a screen for me to use with one hand, so I went with the smaller version. Another little quick gripe that I had with the S8 Plus, which is so bizarre to me, is that emails would come into my iPhone much faster than my Android, which doesn't make sense because Android is Google. I use a Google email. I just didn't get it. But despite all of that, there are still a ton of things that make the S8 worth being a daily driver. The Galaxy S8 is one of the best looking phones that I've seen in a while thanks to that infinity display, the glossy black finish. It all helps it to feel very premium, and just taking the sucker out of your pocket, you can't help but feel good. It's an awesome looking phone, and that's kind of one of the things that you really enjoy about a new phone, the way it looks and how it feels in the hand. Another bonus to switching over to the Galaxy S8 has definitely been USB Type-C.
Now, one thing I love about the S8 is the fact that it does have USB Type-C, so I can unplug my MacBook when the battery's low and just go ahead and charge it. Boom. So now I'm getting juice even though I'm not using the charger that this came with. And who said Samsung and Apple can't get along? Now that's cool because I get to bring around one charger for both my phone and my MacBook. Can't even do that with the iPhone, so that's pretty good.
I cannot say enough how much I miss being able to tweak and customize my phone. With the iPhone, pretty much what you see is what you get. And while that may work for a lot of people, I really did miss that part of Android, so I'm super happy to have that back. I like what I've got going on with my S8 right now. I think it fits my vibe pretty well. And let's be honest, that's the best part about tech, being able to tinker with it. Now, something that I was a bit apprehensive about when making the switch was giving up my Apple Watch. I happen to use mine on a daily basis, so I was pretty happy to find out that the Gear S3 was out and I could use that with the S8.
So today we went to Best Buy, picked up this guy. I actually did a video with an unboxing of it, but I have the Galaxy Gear S3 because I needed a replacement for my Apple Watch. The biggest feature that I actually use on my Apple Watch is the Find My Phone feature because I always misplace my phone, or maybe I have it in a room, I don't know where it is. Use that feature a lot. And I recently found out that I can do that with this, so this has just about everything I need, that one feature. I actually have to use the Find My Phone feature right now, so let's test that out. There we go, boom, boom. Oh, best feature ever. Oh, there it goes. Time to go get it.
Now, I do know that using a smartwatch is not something that's super common, so if you're in the 1% that actually does still use one of these, that's something to keep in mind. The S3 is definitely a great option for Android. There's something about those Galaxy cameras that I personally am a fan of. Now, they're not massively better than the iPhone, but there's something about the sharpness and the color that I really like, and the fact that the camera allows you to have more control over your photos. That's all I want. So what's the verdict? I'm sticking with the S8. That beautiful look, the amazing camera, all that customization, these are all pros that I think outweigh the cons. And to be honest, it's not like there aren't third-party applications that pretty much fix all the issues with the cons. It does suck, but hey, it's still possible to get around it. Now, if anybody really wants to get in touch with you, they'll download the third-party apps and make it work with you. So you always have those options. But what do you guys think? Would you stick with the iPhone or stay with the S8? Let me know with a comment down below. If you enjoyed this or found it useful, Be the cool guy or girl that gives this video a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, it's your average consumer. Peace.